writing cover letters sucks. And if you've ever written a cover letter, you've probably struggled with it. So today, what we're going to talk about is the 4 common mistakes people make when writing a cover letter. And hopefully what this will do is will help you avoid those mistakes to write better cover letters. Mistake number 1, writing a generic cover letter. So boring. You'll see it all the time if you, like everyone else, Google examples. What are cover letter examples? I actually did this for you, and I pulled up one of the first cover letter example images that came up. And let me just read to you the first paragraph. This is from a school, so I'm not going to say what school it is. Please accept this letter and the attached resume as an indication of my sincere interest in the open legal assistant position at company that I found on the school's link of the school's job database. I graduated in December of 2014 with a degree in history and sociology and would like to gain experience in the legal field before applying to law school. Okay. Are you bored? Are you asleep? If you're a recruiter, do you just want to keep reading? No, because it's generic, and this is how I see so many cover letters start out. They look up something online and then they start by saying, as an outgoing and high energy individual, it's with pleasure that I apply for blah blah blah. So boring. It also means that you're typically sending out the same letter to every company. So what you want to do instead of making these generic, boring letters is tailor every cover letter you write to the job you're applying for. Now I know what you're thinking. I have to write a different cover letter for every job I'm applying to? Unfortunately, yes. If you want to stand out, you can't write a generic cover letter that looks like you Googled it. The way I see it, there are 3 categories that cover letters fall into. There's the bottom of the barrel that's, this is such terrible junk, I'm not even gonna talk to this person because they are not good. These are full of errors and typos and are maybe a line or 2 long. Then there's the middle group, which is where most people fall into. I would say 80% of letters are not really great, not terrible, decent, doesn't move the needle. And then there's a select few at the top where the letter is written in such a compelling way that almost regardless of what the resume says, the recruiter says, we need to bring in this person. I want to know more. I'm intrigued. They've said something that I want to dive deeper into. That's where you want to be. You always want to shoot for the top tier of the cover letter because you want them to meet you where you can sell yourself in person. So the first mistake, generic cover letters that are not tailored. Kiss of death. The second mistake, making it all about you. In that example that I read to you earlier, did you notice that they did this as well? They say, I would like to gain experience in the legal field before applying to law school. It's all about you. Huge mistake. If you're a recruiter at a company, you're not worried about Sally Johansson getting the job because she really wants to go to law school someday. You're looking for someone who can do the job the best. Someone who's going to make your life and your team's life and your company's life really easy because they're so good at what they do and people like them. And so it doesn't matter that Sally says, well, I really want to do this because it's a great stepping stone in my career. Well, really, Sally? couldn't really care about your career that much. I know that sounds harsh, but that is the truth. If you are a recruiter, you might have hundreds of applications to go through in a day. You don't have time. So what you're going to do is you're going to look for people who meet the minimum qualifications. You're going to scan cover letters. And at the end of the day, you're going to want to bring in people who can talk to meeting your needs. So what Sally Johansson should do, that's not the name of anyone, just made that up. What Sally could do, instead of saying, I want this, I want that, she can say, I have these skills that I can offer the company. I can bring this skill set to the company. She needs to talk more about what she can do for the company and less what the company can do for her. The third mistake that people typically make on a cover letter is what I like to call talking in the clouds. Now, this is not a scientific term whatsoever, obviously. What this means is that you give broad, sweeping statements about what you could do, what you like to do, things you've done in the past. But they're up here. And what I want people to do is bring them down here. Bring them down to earth so we can see. Say you planned an event. Instead of just saying, I helped plan this event. Tell me more details. What did you do to help plan the event? How did it go? How did it make you feel? And what did you learn from it? Also, talk about how that's relevant to me. Don't let me assume that planning this event gave you the experience that you need to work at my company. Tell me how it does. Show me. Be specific. Being specific in a cover letter is so important. Generally, where people are talking is in this high level, very general ideas. I want you to bring it down to specifics. I want you to give examples, and I want you to tell the recruiter why you are the best candidate for this position. Not why this is the best position for you, but why you would be the best person for this job. That simple little tweak can make things so much better. The last mistake that people typically make on a cover letter, and it's an easy one to fix, is not addressing the letter to a specific person. We used to address letters to whom it may concern. We don't live in a world where we have to address a letter to whom it may concern. We want to find a specific person, okay? So sometimes on the job description, it says who to send your application to. In that case, it's easy. Send your application, address your letter to that person. In other cases, it's a little bit more challenging. I always encourage my clients to go and look and do a little research. With company websites, LinkedIn, and even Facebook, you can learn so much about people. What you want to look for is someone who works in HR, someone who's a recruiter, or someone who's the manager of the department that you're applying for. The trick is you don't have to have the right person, because for most companies, there's not a right person. Most hiring decisions are not made by one person. Most hiring decisions are made by a team of people. So yes, your cover letter may be read initially by one person, but it would be really hard for you to know exactly who that person's going to be. What I have found is that most companies and most recruiters appreciate a little bit of legwork on your part. So even if you address it to the wrong person, typically that's okay, because as long as you found a person who's currently working at the company in some relation is related to this job, they're just going to be happy that you have a person that they know on there. It shows you've done a little research. The other thing that you can do is pick up the phone. Ooh, shudders. I know many people are afraid of this, but don't be afraid. Here's the deal. What's the worst that can happen? You find a job that you like on the internet, you want to apply for it. You pick up the phone and you call their number and you say, "Hi, My name is Sarah. I would like to apply for your technical mechanic job. I was wondering, who could I address my cover letter to? Maybe the receptionist says, I don't know, please don't call back here. Okay, you're out nothing. Maybe they say, oh, that's Bob. You can address it to Bob Dolan. Okay. Maybe they say, oh, that's Bob. Let me connect you with him. Beep, beep, boop, boop. And the next thing you know, you're on the phone with the hiring manager, which is not a bad thing. Now you have the opportunity to say, hi, Bob. I was just calling to see who I could address my letter to. I'm really interested in this mechanic's position that you have open. And then maybe he says, oh, I'm so excited about that. Do you have any questions? And you could say, actually, yes, I do. And then you have a whole conversation, and now you're not just a resume and a cover letter in a pile, but you're Sarah, the standout person who went the extra mile to call. So I always say call. Now, one of the things to remember though is if it's a huge company, it might be hard to call and find out the exact person you're supposed to talk to. So that might not be the best route, but try to find someone's name online. Do a little research. Worst case scenario, you can find no people, and there are some companies who do not list their staff names. In that case, what I would say is try to be a little bit more specific than to whom it may concern. Try to address it to the hiring manager. Try to address it to the HR team. Try to do it to the search committee. It depends on your field, but addressing your letter to a real person will help you as opposed to just being super generic. Well, those are the 4 mistakes I typically see made on cover letters. To review. Don't write a generic cover letter. Tailor your cover letter to the position you're applying for and use a little bit of creativity while you're at it. 2, don't make it all about you. Make it about what you can do for the company. 3, don't talk in the clouds. Use specifics. Use details. Sell them on what you've done and why that would be an asset when you work for the company. And the 4th and final thing is don't address your letter to a generic to whom it may concern. Do a little research, find a name, address your letter to a real person. That's all I have. Thank you for watching my video. If you're interested in learning more about career tips, cover letters, resume, all the things, or any lifestyle, motherhood topics, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you would like help writing a cover letter for a job search that you are currently in, go to collinscareercoaching.com and check me out. Do a free consultation call so I can help you one-on-one get the job of your dreams.